Abdullah Hayek, senior contributor for Young Voices and a Middle East analyst. Jonathan Tobin is the editor-in-chief of the Jewish News Syndicate. Gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us today. I do appreciate that. Abdullah Hayek, let me start with you. The president putting out that statement earlier today to reporters as he was speaking to a gaggle. He says points 1, 2, and 3 of this so-called deal between Iran and the U.S. is to not have nuclear weapons. But there's also a question about who the U.S. is dealing with in terms of not having clear leadership.
Well, I believe that this is another addition in the overall U.S. strategy that further indicates that the overall goal for the U.S. and Iran is not regime change, rather regime reform and regime rectification. We're seeing that the U.S. is mainly concerned with Iran not developing a nuclear weapon, and we're seeing that with their targeting of the nuclear infrastructure and targeting of military infrastructure, especially for the IRGC. Whereas the Israelis, on the other hand, are concerned with just striking out as many targets as they can that will eventually lead to regime collapse. Now, in terms of who the U.S. might be speaking with and the reason why they did not declare who it is, I think there's many people that can be alluded to who they are. I think, in my opinion, according to reports from Israel right now, it could be the Speaker of the Iranian Parliament, Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, who basically is a hardliner, but he's a pragmatist, and he has strong connections within the regime, but he's not the actual regime, given his parliamentary career. So it's still distorted, it's still unclear, but I think that's where the U.S. is going, regime reform.
And Jonathan, Connecticut Senator Chris Murphy is slamming the Trump administration's handling of this conflict. He says they need to end it. Let's listen.
The Secretary of Treasury just said we're going to escalate in order to de-escalate. It's like they've never read a history book. That's exactly what our war leaders said in the middle of Vietnam and the 20 years of mismanagement in Afghanistan. We need to end this war. The only way you are going to get prices down here in the United States, the only way that you are going to bring peace to the region is by ending this war.
So does the Trump administration need to reassess the strategy?
No, I think Senator Murphy needs to learn some history. The problem here isn't, a forever war. It's an effort to force the regime in Iran, a regime that has been at war with the United States for 47 years, to give us its nuclear program and ambitions, its ballistic missiles, and stop terrorism. If they stop attacking the region, neither the U.S. nor Israel will have much problem with it, whether the regime changes or not. Stopping now is just a continuation of failed democratic policies pursued by the Obama and Biden administrations that enriched and empowered Iran, that allowed them to launch wars, seek regional hegemony, and attack and kill Americans. That is not a solution. President Trump and the administration has been pursuing a policy aimed at stopping them from doing that. Whatever happens now, the regime is much weaker, much less in a position to build nuclear weapons and to attack Americans or Israelis. That's a positive outcome. If it is ended too soon and allows the regime to continue with its past policies, granting them a victory, that will not be in the interest of the United States and would be a repeat of past appeasement that has failed.
Let's talk about the Middle East, Abdullah, if we can. The Serbian president paying a visit to the UAE. Serbian President Alexander Vučić making an unplanned trip, though this is video of Israel. Here's that video, an unplanned trip to Abu Dhabi. He's meeting with the Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan to express Serbia's solidarity with the United Arab Emirates. In your mind, what would be the significance of President Vučić of Serbia visiting this area? Again, an unplanned trip.
You know, the United Arab Emirates has received emissaries and world leaders ever since the conflict began. Besides the Serbian president, the King of Jordan himself went to Abu Dhabi just last week. And it's just a pattern to show solidarity with the United Arab Emirates, being the country with the most strikes among all of the GCC states on the Arabian Gulf. Now, why this is happening right now is because they want to show the pact of the pro-Abraham Accords alliance that was done back in 2020. the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain normalized with Israel, Serbian president and the president of Kosovo also moved their embassy to Jerusalem back in the first Trump administration. So it's more or less a political pact that solidifies the Trump sponsorship, let's say. So I think Serbia is just one of that pattern that we're seeing. I think more leaders will come because the UAE is not going to get it easy for any time soon. The Iranians have just remained on targeting them consistently.
Jonathan, something that stuck out to me when looking at the targets that Iran has had is that 85% of the projectiles that they have launched have been directed at Gulf states, only 15% at Israel. If you're Saudi Arabia, you're the UAE, you're Kuwait, whatever, you're over there, and even if this thing were to end tomorrow, isn't there still going to be a lingering big issue in the room? There's an elephant there that Iran is willing to strike out at its neighbors no matter what.
I think this is a reminder that Iran is at war with everybody. Everybody that doesn't share their extremist version of Islam, which they wish to spread throughout the world, in the Muslim and Arab world as well as the West. It is a war of them against all. And from the reports that I am hearing, the Gulf states don't want the United States to end this prematurely.
Correct.
They want the United States with its Israeli ally to fix Iran to the point where, at the very least, it's no longer a threat to its neighbors. That's a reasonable expectation, and one that I think the United States should take seriously if we want regional stability, if we want to not have a regime that can spike the price of oil and threaten everybody, shoot missiles that can reach Europe as well as Israel or the Gulf states in the region. Then this regime has to be stripped of its ability to project terror and destruction elsewhere. That is something that can be achieved without boots on the ground. It hasn't gone on that long. 3 weeks is not a forever war. And so far, despite the doom and gloom we're hearing from the liberal media and from the Democrats, this has been a successful campaign. If it continues, I dare say the Iranians will be, at the very least, no longer in a position to kill Americans, kill other Arabs, or kill Arabs in the region because they're Persians, and to threaten peace.
Well, the president seemed very optimistic as of this morning in terms of the talks that were going on, the negotiating, as he put it, between Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff. So hopefully we'll see some sort of result come from that. Abdullah Hayek, Jonathan Tobin, thank you very much. We are continuing to follow the ongoing investigation.